Absolutely.
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 Literally.
Literally.
That was literally insane.
Tonight, watch scientists talk about being in the middle of a whale carcass feeding frenzy, while not being in a whale carcass feeding frenzy. Belly of the beast feeding frenzy. Let's get started. Unnecessary drone shot. Let's meet the team in slow motion. I'm Lord Voldemort's more evil-looking cousin. My organization kills an average of 32 white sharks a year and countless other marine animals, and that's why Shark Week asked me here to talk about shark conservation. No, seriously, that's how I earn a paycheck. I launched my career by blaming orcas for what Voldemort is doing to the white sharks. Shark Week said, "We love it, you're our girl as long as you keep blaming the orcas." In fact, we made our first show blaming the orcas back in 2017, and we're still doing it today. In fact, we've made as many shows about the orcas killing white sharks as the orcas have killed white sharks. Of course, the fishing industry that I protect has killed more white sharks in 1 year than the orcas have in a decade, and my co-host Voldemort has killed more white sharks in a month than the orcas have done ever. Simply put, I protect the real threat to white shark populations on the Cape Coast. He protects the real threat to white shark populations on the East Coast. Together, we're the perfect team. My experience is with smaller tropical species of sharks, so I was the obvious choice for Shark Week to fly over from Florida to talk about great whites eating whales in South Africa. My credentials are that I love the ocean, but the producers said Shark Week needed more diversity, so here I am. Now I'm a researcher.
Whale carcass feeding frenzies are literally the most impressive feeding frenzy on Earth. Literally the most impressive feeding frenzy on Earth.
That is literally an opinion. On Shark Week, the opinions of scientists are facts. Absolutely none of the footage that you see in this show of sharks actually feeding on whales was filmed during this show, nor did we witness any of those events ourselves. Whoa, that's not here or now. The editor stuck my voice over something I never saw.
We are going to study this feeding frenzy like no one else has ever done before.
Ooh, like no one has done before. That has to mean something good. I'm all in.
I'm going to put myself inside an artificial whale carcass for unparalleled observations.
Unparalleled observations of a shark not eating and not at a feeding frenzy, because it literally cannot feed on this thing that is literally inedible. Unparalleled observations. Let's just hope the people at home don't remember that Shark Week did this better 22 years ago with more sharks on a real whale carcass with an actual feeding event. Unparalleled observations. 22 years ago, Shark Week had people in cages underwater filming sharks actually eating the whale carcass. A scientist on top of a real whale carcass observing sharks eating a real whale carcass. But hey, today we have more expensive props being filmed by more expensive cameras. I know, non-stop action doesn't quite compare to an inflated storyline and dramatic talking heads. But oh, wait, I think I missed something. Something exciting happened.
Okay, I can see a shark.
Holy crap. The scientific knowledge that we will gain from seeing an animal tricked into chewing on fiberglass and plastic will be unprecedented. Unprecedented. Wait, that can't be the Shark Week soundtrack. Let's try that again. Yeah.
This is a radical approach to studying white sharks, but if you want to get the best data, sometimes you got to do crazy things.
Ooh, the buzzwords are flying. Radical, study, best data. Music crescendo. Yeah, that was it.
If you want to get the best data, sometimes you got to do crazy things.
Which, of course, means creating an unnecessarily shady situation for a human being so that the people at home can be morbidly entertained by the off chance that something goes wrong.
But Austin's still exposed.
But remember, we're going to get valuable data of what it's like of a shark doing something it would never, ever, ever naturally do.
The divers are forced to use Earl as a shield to protect themselves.
I don't think the narrator's looking at the same thing that the producers are showing us.
The shark launches its first attack on Austin.
Of course, the shark is after Austin, and the synthetic whale is just getting in the way of the shark's evil plans.
Earl is a first-of-its-kind prototype, and it could change white shark research forever.
Gee.
The most vulnerable part of the design is the thin Lexan dive pod. This is the only protection the diver will have if the sharks decide to unleash their most devastating attack, the Polaris breach.
We literally know from experience how risky this is, but we have to advance science by boosting our ratings.
We are going to study this feeding frenzy like no one else has ever done before, surrounded by dozens of hungry and really excited great white sharks.
And by dozens, I absolutely and literally mean one, sometimes two, but usually zero.
Great white sharks that reach 20 feet in length need to consume about 50,000 calories per day.
Oh, so about the same amount as your average 6-foot American.
They're capable of devouring 10 times that amount.
Oh, you mean a Texan.
Okay, I can see a shark.
Sweet mother of God, no.
Remember, we're all on inflatable boats here, hey?
This expedition has been all about taking an innovative and sometimes even radical approach to white shark science.
Such as scuba diving with sunglasses on. No, but seriously, isn't anyone getting wary of hearing the same generic, seemingly impressive, yet actually meaningless lines?
Innovative and sometimes even radical approach to white shark science.
Why is this data so vital?
Innovative and sometimes even radical approach to white shark science. Radical approach to studying white sharks. Make scientific breakthroughs, the best data to advance our science. And advancing our science.
It's so critical to actually the future of the species.
Hopefully contributes to helping save the species from extinction.
So we can understand where they're going and ultimately save white sharks here in South Africa.
This was really the missing piece of the puzzle we needed down in South Africa.
Yes, my child, you have learned well.
Solving this puzzle to solve the puzzle of their lives.
Missing piece of the puzzle.
Where do the sharks breed? Where do the sharks feed? Where do they give birth? And we solved several of those questions already. We don't know where they breed. We don't know where they feed. We don't know where they give birth.
We know so little about this life history stage. Where do they go? Where do they mate? Where do they pup?
This was really the missing piece of the puzzle we needed down in South Africa, and boy did we get it.
And yet, we'll be back next season, using the same excuses, looking for the same missing puzzle pieces that we just told you we got.
And boy did we get it. And boy did we get it. And boy did we get it.
We're going to learn so much more about these monster sharks.
This tag of salvation provided one data point before failing. Let's look back on the tags of salvation from 2012.
She's been looking that way the whole time. She's dead.
Yeah, but at least you got that missing puzzle piece, which enabled you to ultimately save these sharks 10 years ago, in a country that listed white sharks as a protected species in 1991. Science trying to protect a protected species for 33 years.
This has never been done before. but to make scientific breakthroughs, sometimes you gotta do things a little radical.
By scientific breakthroughs, we mean wasting valuable resources to entertain people at home with ridiculous gadgets while learning nothing. I'm Allison Towner. I was part of the team that mutilated this shark and dozens of others. Over a decade ago, it's still bearing the scars of that experience. As is always the case, we did this with the excuse of needing to learn how to save the sharks. 10 years later, the sharks are worse off than ever. The few of these mutilation tags that worked at all simply reconfirmed that they're coming up here to be killed by Lord Voldemort.
So our strategy is to simulate a whale carcass feeding frenzy.
So our strategy is to simulate something that already happens naturally and dozens of people have witnessed in close proximity. I mean, this is basically a Tuesday for the people who live in Aliwal Shoal. But if we aren't blowing money and putting talking heads on television to over-dramatize something for your entertainment, then how can you call it science? No, but seriously, this is a Tuesday for us. Hold on, I've got to interject. I hope that this is fake overacting by Austin. Otherwise, this is just embarrassing. Nope, that's one shark. Eating alone. No, he's not eating. Frustrated by this weird thing he found. Oh my god, I can't see anything that's happening from my unparalleled observation device. Switch to drone footage because I'm getting nothing here. Good thing we had unprotected free divers to get some underwater footage in this highly dangerous situation. Feeding frenzy. That's what you called it. My fault. Feeding frenzy.
This subadult male demonstrates the same behavior the team saw on the real whale carcass.
Swimming. Perhaps they're wondering why a whale smells like fish.
Whale carcass events are rare, and sometimes humpback whales will die of natural causes or boat strikes.
Or sometimes from unnatural causes like drowning in my co-host Matt Dickens' shark nets, which attracts sharks, and then the sharks also die in those shark nets. Yeah, my co-host is a real gem. He's just killing everything. But if we get a tag on this shark, we might be able to figure out how to stop that.
I mean, look at this. It's like pigs at a trough.
Pigs at a trough. That's exactly what I was saying when I said it's the most impressive feeding frenzy on the planet. Guys, let me show you what you can already see with your own eyes. This is someone else's footage. I didn't shoot this, but I'm going to write a research paper describing what I interpret to be happening in this footage. No, really, I've done that.
Getting a satellite tag on one of these large white sharks could really open up a window into what we need to do in order to save them from extinction. What we need to do in order to save them from extinction. What we need to do in order to save them from extinction.
Look to your right.
The waters around Austin are filled with gallons of blood and guts. It also cuts the visibility in half, making it hard for Austin to see incoming threats.
Which will change his reaction to those incoming threats from being able to do nothing to being able to do nothing. Maybe compared to the Bahamas, that's about as good as South Africa gets.
The safety boat is several minutes away.
Why? Thank God for drones. They really help us fill in those holes while we try to turn this into a 1-hour show. Let's speed this up to 20x in order to get past 5 minutes of dramatic music over absolutely nothing happening.
One of the biggest mysteries in white shark science is, where do the really big sharks go?
It's not that big of a mystery. They migrate this direction and I kill them.
To emulate a real whale carcass feeding frenzy, there's one final ingredient. Chum. And lots of it.
Look at all that blood.
The team gets to work, dumping in a special recipe of ground up fish parts.
Yep, nothing emulates a real whale carcass feeding frenzy, like making the water smell like dead fish instead of a dead marine mammal.
We're using more blood, guts, hormones than ever before to try and bring in the largest white sharks here in South Africa.
Because of our tremendous respect for these animals, we thought we'd make a TV show for entertainment purposes based on tricking these giant animals into traveling miles to a fake feeding event with a fake whale.
Allison prepares a satellite tag for deployment. But passing the spear to Austin is easier said than done.
In order to have this fake storyline now, we made sure not to give him that spear via the divers or the boats or when he got in the first place. The tag had to be deployed from the whale because the shark swimming next to the boat was just too easy. Hey, do you think we could have Austin, who's never done this before, attempt to do it from a worse location? I mean, the shark is right next to us, and we already have the tag and the spear on the boat with us. That's not fun. That's not interesting. That's not television.
To do this, Austin will have to put himself just inches away from its powerful jaws. Inches away from its powerful jaws. Diving unprotected around a white this size is extremely dangerous.
Unless you're a dolphin. Then you can be around a 20-foot great white, and it's not dangerous. This majestic giant swims peacefully next to other creatures in the ocean, including the cameraman. Or the giant bears down on the cameraman who's protected by a cage. Wait a minute, there's no cage there. Oh God. Having a hard time keeping up with this bullshit script from Shark Week.
Diving unprotected around a white this size is extremely dangerous, especially when there's blood in the water.
Ah yes, stupid me. It was the blood. It was the blood in the water that pushed it over the edge. Unless, of course, that's blood I'm seeing. Yep, that's blood. Oh, and that's a whale carcass. Wow, that must be dangerous with that 20... Oh, what the heck? I guess it's only dangerous for the Shark Week experts.
Billions of sardines coming up the coast. We've got the humpback whales. They're moving up from the feeding grounds in the Southern Ocean.
And we've got quite a surprise waiting for them. God, I hate those whales. Now we eat up some clock with unnecessary CGI explaining exactly how difficult it was to make this completely unnecessary but exceptionally expensive prop. They gave it a nickname, acronyms, so it's gotta be scientific now.
Deploying Earl at night presents unique opportunities.
Such as doing exactly what we were doing during the day, but now with the difficulty of not being able to see what we're doing.
But it also comes with new risks. Great whites can be more aggressive in the dark.
Based on absolutely nothing. But you heard it on Shark Week, it must be true. At least that's what they told me to say, because once again, I've never seen one. But if we keep saying it, then the audience might actually think they're seeing a feeding frenzy.
This 12-foot shark is right on the edge of adulthood. It's possible this great white socializes with the giants the team is looking for.
And suddenly switch to someone else's footage of a real whale carcass feeding, just to keep things interesting. And right back to the fake whale.
If Austin can attach a sat tag, it could lead them to an area where these behemoths live.
And if not, we'll deploy enough chum to attract sharks to an area they would never, ever normally go. Hashtag science.
We're using more blood, guts, hormones.
She's never been seen before, and if they don't tag her, she may never be seen again.
If they do tag her, she also may never be seen again. It's the exact same odds, or maybe the odds are greater that she won't be seen again because her time was wasted with a synthetic whale, synthetic blood, and being stabbed.
The shark is doing exactly what they do around real whale carcasses.
Swimming.
Extremely strategic, very cautious.
And that's why we keep calling it a frenzy. An extremely strategic, cautious frenzy.
A massive 18-foot white shark, the biggest seen in South Africa in 6 years.
Ha, it's not that big. I've killed bigger.
So we can understand where they're going and ultimately save white sharks here in South Africa.
Yes, this is the exact type of individual we're looking for. Or a baby, or a 2-footer, or a 12-footer, or a 20-footer. We'll tag any shark that's moving, to be honest, and pretend that it's going to save the sharks.
To mimic a whale carcass explosion, the team's designed a custom helmet that fits on Earl's head and is full of synthetic blood designed to attract sharks.
Because it's very important to the sharks, who don't care that the blood came from the head or that blood came from a rupture, are now going to care that synthetic blood came from a synthetic head of a rupture they weren't even there to witness. Thank God you mimicked a rupture.
Sharks are clearly fired up by the explosion of blood.
Clearly, as demonstrated by this calmly gliding shark in no blood. Oh wait, now I know. It's the synthetic blood and the synthetic whale that makes it extra dangerous in this situation. You know, all the fake situations for unparalleled science observations.
Now she's going to be charged up.
Yes, synthetic blood does it every time. Ask the shark biologist. Can you say anything worse to top that? Like, maybe pretend that there's danger based on red ink dye?
Maybe get Austin out of there, or...
Perfect. That's it for this episode. Like and subscribe to see more, and stay tuned for the follow-up to this episode, Everything Wrong with Belly of the Beast. Special thanks to Lord Voldemort. I've still never seen a white shark whale carcass feeding frenzy. Ocean enthusiast / shark expert, I don't like the way Shark Week represents me. Every time they represent me. For the last 10 years, when I come back for the paycheck and help produce the shows, I absolutely and literally need to go throw up.